I hope I'm recording now. Look, yeah. Hi, recording, broadcasting live somewhere out there, John Hutchison. Okay, so a number of comments on Secret Squirrel stuff. Booker Bay, Australia was an event that some claim. Let me back up a bit. Okay, I do TV shows, as you know, and they air over years in different countries. And this one aired in USA, Canada, and then overseas and to Australia, where Mr. Harrington saw my episode. Okay, and called me by phone from Booker Bay, Australia. Okay, and he said there was an event that happened which was similar to what he's seen on TV with the Hutchison effect, and he said he wanted my address and all that, and he sent me the documents. Priority. So let's see what we got here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, not mentioning addresses or anything, but this is the report. ICRL report 95. And the number, okay, I got that. It was classified, and it was written by Dr. Hal Putoff and Paul Devereaux, scientists. So I got the report. It was pretty thick. Oh, maybe a quarter of an inch or less. And it gave a magnetometer readings and many other readings and photographs. This I gave to my friend later on, Alec Sharashevsky, a former business partner of mine who has it still, who might be visiting down here. So I did mention it to Timmy Venture. He had somebody from ICRL on his show. Gave the report number. I have this photographed. It's on the internet somewhere too, the entire letter. So, but nobody's done anything. Nobody bothered to even try and find it or contact me. So it's out there in secret squirrel land until Alec brings it back and make it public. I guess it's uploaded too. Nancy uploaded all the pictures and letters and stuff. So Mr. Harrington's letter in Australia. He had a farm and was married. I have no contact with him since that. I don't know if he's alive still or what, but oh well. But it's worthy of pursuing for scientific information. Some secret squirrel stuff wants to be secret, I guess. I did contact Hal Putoff. He heard nothing back. Heard a lot back when I presented him with my power cell. I'm just going over some random papers. Do you know this? I was offered $5,000 for all these papers. But I would hand them over, they make copies, but I wouldn't get the original back. Does that make any sense to you? Why wouldn't I get the original back? It's a well-known scientist fellow who we all know. Let's see, that is Harrington's letter. Yeah, okay. This one from the University of Berlin, actually. Dr. H. Amen, who analyzed the metal samples. Yeah, so that's a long letter. Let's put that aside, Harrington's letter aside, which is in there too, strapped to one of the pages. Trump! Bloop. I don't know what this is all about. 40 Wall Street, 32nd floor, New York, 1005. Why does he write me? But Donald. He's in deep doo-doo anyway. Oh, that's kind of boring. That's nothing much there. This is International Symposium on New Energy. I was a speaker and I didn't get eggs tossed at me. They liked me for some reason. That's where I met Kirk R. Thatcher of Star Trek 4, I think. Oh, Denver, actually. What's this one? Okay, priority. No, that's. Sorry, that's Harrington again. Okay. And we have here slides. Ooh. What do these slides show? All kinds of things I totally forgotten about. I got all kinds of this junk. But so much stuff was done in those days. It's from the Los Alamos or somewhere else. Hard. It looks like. Looks like people in there, huh? Look like Paris Hilton. I don't know. You know, I've really forgotten because I used to take pictures, prolific video person. Take photos. I don't know. To get those somehow developed, huh? Give it to the film crew. Yeah. This is NASA. I think I took that photo. NASA, the Star Trek conference hosted by Star Trek people. Ken Shoulders and I, Dr. Rocher, Gene Manning. A picture of Gene Manning's in here, by the way. Just look in there, the NASA personnel there. There's Jeannie. There's Jeannie there. Right there. Okay, so that was an interesting conference. That's where I met Prince Alfred von Liechtenstein. It was Henry Dakin, Ken Shoulders, Jan Gazda, and Prince Alfred von Liechtenstein. Braggity, braggity, brag, John. Here's some weird crap. I thought it was a joke until I got it confirmed. It's from the White House. Hillary Rotten Clinton and Billy Clinton, whatever. This is U.S. government test, 1983, and that's the test area. And there is a picture of me here. Holding a sample of some kind. Definitely me. Ha! I got all that stuff in better quality and tons of it. Other secret squirrel stuff. Not really, it's just business. That's U.S. Pentagon people. I wonder what's in here anyway. I was on the SBIR program. I got lots of stuff. Oh wow. Sarah L. Wilhelm, contracts, strategic defense. Oh, cool. That's what it's about, yeah. It's a lot easier doing it this way, filming stuff. And let's see it there. Star Wars program. Ah, okay. My letter, I think. The letter is sport. Whoops, hold on. about that. At least I can't read it. But oh well. I can't even read my own writing sometimes. Correspondence and Sarah Wilhelm. This was my contact. Is there a letter in here? Sarah Wilhelm's letter again. Oh, okay. Contract. There are tons of this stuff, by the way. But anyway. Remember, Booker Bay, Australia. Okay, I've got to find those papers. Gravity and time. I studied a lot about that. Gravity and time. Get to that in a minute. I'll get some correspondence like this. Los Alamos. I wonder what that sent. Dublin Street. Oh, wow, that's the early 90s stuff. I wonder what that's all about. Let's read it sometime. I'll get to that. That's a long letter here. With diagrams. That's nice. I don't know. Take all day to read it. I got taught this in weight alone a lot. Okay. Here's the diagram, 1993. Military battery replacer diagram. Okay. At the point there is a junction barrier which excites the magnetic field rod metal. Niobium pins, niobium metal, and field coils around it with capacitors all built in the shape of a battery. Self-reactive material. I think I was working for Reatrade, group of business people at that time. We have here this infamous coil from HMCS Columbia warship that was down in one of the holds, and it's huge coil. I still got those parts, you can see there. Those shiny things, I still got all those. You might see them in some of my videos. This one's some British person. Let's see. Barbara. I wonder who this is. Dear John, so there's a phone conversation, so I'm writing as I remembered that I wanted to suggest you as a possible fundraising project. Before I do that, however, the mad scientist comment, and I refer you to the way that some more popular TV programs like to categorize people they portray, and such corny images are typical of them. Who is this? Albert Button of England. Oh yeah, he is, okay, whatever. He's a scientist that wrote me a few times. I think he wrote an article called The Poltergeist Machine. Here we have Tesla's friend. In Vancouver, ancient old gentleman of Scottish descent who passed away in the 80s had a house full of Tesla's equipment. Not equipment, no, furniture, I should say, that's better. Furniture and papers and documents and stuff like that. I mean, his entire house was just full of Tesla stuff. He wrote a book, it's in the Vancouver Public Library by Thomas Lee Richardson on Tesla. And he wrote this, and he gave me this a long time ago. A copy of this. And this is Thomas Lee Richardson. So, you know, I mentioned this, but nobody takes me serious. Same as the Booker Bay incident. Or the time dilation experiment in Antarctica. Or weather balloons are sent up and went back in time. Their atomic clocks went back in time, 1965, and I got that whole email. in thousands of papers I got. Because fan mail, people write stuff, and I saved it all. I don't know why, but I did. So, yeah. That being said, I still think that Booker Bay incident would be very useful. But, not my butt, but another butt. When I was in Munich, there's a journalist who enjoyed what I was doing and saw it on TV too in Germany. His name is Gottfried Hilscher. He was a journalist for breaking scientific developments in Germany. He was very kind and wanted me to read all these red paper documents by DESY. And there were a lot of them, and I did read them during a hot summer for a month while Ian was working in the film studio somewhere else. I was alone at the place, and I would read these things, and it would go into time dilation, gravitons, tardons, tachyons, time phasing, chronons, antichronons. This went on page after page with diagrams and schematics, along with equations. I keep hearing weird sounds. Everything's turned off. This is the Oracle room, by the way. I'm broadcasting from live somewhere out there. Little Johnny Cupcake. So, when I say rotating magnetic fields at the speed of light within an electrostatic field, I ain't kidding. This stuff's been written about in those documents, which are classified as well. So, wow. And Gottfried wasn't allowed to share them, actually, but he thought I would be okay in sharing with me. Now it's many years later, and I'm now talking about it because it's quite true. So, let's get Booker Bay going here and some of those DESY documents out there in the world. As it holds a lot of information. The only other weird information I got is from Andrea Sakharov through his friend of mine, René Louis Vallée of France. And I got lots of that information, and a lot of it's in equations, a lot of it is in Russian. Okay? It is. I'm not kidding. I got tons of this stuff. Worthy of somebody getting interested in what I'm talking about, for Christ's sakes. After Thomas Lee Richardson passed away, all the Tesla stuff was shipped to the United Kingdom. But no, some of you guys are just banging the same old drum over and over till truly nauseating. Come on. The guy with his levitator and the beetle wings stuff and the Paul Pantone junk coming up. Oh my God. The geek garbage and the other garbage, the Searle garbage. Wow, you know, there's a whole young generation of smart kids out there doing a lot of very interesting things. They should be talked about, really. But you guys bring up the same old gang of farts. Come on! Same old garbage. So I'm trying to give as much information I can to a friend of mine, Charles Crawford III, a very brilliant kid, young gentleman, and others, Bernie and others. The old guys, they just want to hang on to the same old dinosaur and what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? You know, what do I think? I don't even think of them. I never bother with them. Or Dennis Lee. What do you think of Dennis Lee? Nothing like, what do you think of Boyd Bushman and Rex Webb and their scientific explorations? Do you know they take two magnets, bolt them together so they're repelling each other? described right on TLC TV by his friend Lloyd Bushman, who passed away in Sark. Unfortunately, you drop it off the leaning tower building, whatever it was in Lockheed, and you get these results. Never tweeted by Alec, somebody by the name Alec, and it seemed to be true. Good friend David Sarita interviewed Lloyd Bushman at his home, and I don't think he interviewed Rex Webb, but I'm still in contact with Rex Webb, so that's new, important stuff. Okay. Oh, what do you think of T. Brown? I don't. Ion lifting tech is simple old stuff, but I think he was a good scientist. Along with Robert Gulka in his research. He passed away as well. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is the Oracle Room. Anybody else? And Ken Scholler, one of the most brilliant, along with Peter Kokoshnik. They really knew this stuff and they did it in reality. But, gotta bring up the old gang, the old fakers. Searle and Pantone and Dennis Lee and a bunch of other lost cause idiots. You get some of the next new generation that come along. Oh, yeah, the free energy, it's all fake. It's fake garbage. You get kind of jaded, dealing with lunatics over time. But I dealt with a lot of good people, know a lot more than I do for sure. I don't know anything. I always did Google search and look up something. I'm trying to figure something out. My God, I watched Pakistan engineering and Indian engineering, how they do things on the engine lathe. I learn. Every day I learn something new. I'm not going to talk about choking my chicken today. I don't choke chickens. I do not choke chickens, number one. But if this wasn't recorded, it'd be kind of boring, wouldn't it? It is recording. Ew. Oh well. So, I'm going to label this video Booker Bay and Other Mysteries. Dr. Puda, we met in person, 1993, with George Hathaway, right? Right. And I showed you my energy thing, and you liked it. Okay, and I suggested I take you up on your offer at $10,000, and you said, no, it's blah, 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 blah. You get a lot more for it, and thanks for the advice, but I did get more for it, actually. $250,000 a few times over, from Japan and from Germany and others. I have all, and we're still best friends. But yeah, oh yeah. Now, other things, Roland Brito's brother was murdered in South Africa. Roland was like a brother, and we were brothers for a long time, and we go back to the early 80s. He met Thomas Lee Richardson as well. Roland apparently still alive, but Bernard Brito got murdered. Found that nonsense out. I wonder if that was somebody else, that Shanna Lee Dunn, who was found in a ditch in 4 inches of water on drugs. Bright little spark lady. She was doing all her things to get well, and anyway, I'm going off topic. Sorry, but oh well. Let's get Booker Bay going here. So, on that note, I guess I should go. So behind me is the Oracle room. And then the other room's got the high voltage and RF and receiving RF and manipulation RF and magnetic fields generators. If you ever heard of magnetic amplifiers, they exist. Navy. Vintage. Phase inverters, yes, they exist. Spinning discs in a 19.5-inch rack mount unit with inputs and outputs, and HMCS Columbia had all those phase shifters. So what you're hearing about the Philadelphia experiment, getting close to it. So all this stuff, just goes away and tossed in the scrapyards over time, and it's almost impossible to find it. I am getting bits and pieces of it. That's what's out in the other room. Everybody's into the iPhone world and the SRD and chart flows and all that plastic garbage stuff. And that's what I said in my RBL series videos. Oh, anyway, I should check the time and get ready to go. But remember, Booker Bay. Look for the new stuff. Don't bother with all these fake stuff that's out there. A lot of it. The social media internet world is totally saturated with junk. And the worst case scenarios are the ones that draw it out on paper and have no working stuff. I mean, I could draw out all kinds of crap. It's just a drawing. It's just heat, big smoke, no fire. Fire is the proof is in the pudding. And these old sayings are quite true. Anyway, I should shut up and get going here. Alrighty, so that whole thing was $5,000 for the original documents that somebody offered somebody else. I would get the originals back. It strikes me as a secret squirrel operation. I had agents show up one time, a couple times. They're pretending they're just investors. They weren't in. I could smell a spook a mile away. I called them on it. You're from Canadian Security Intelligence Service, aren't you? They didn't say anything. They just walked out the door. Then the other ones were funny too. There was Brian Wallace and Bob Gajewski had a front operation that's called Car Check of Canada in Vancouver. They hung out with me and wanted this and that and all that all the time for a while. Brian Wallace, Bob Gajewski. Canadian consulate contacted Bob Gajewski. Didn't pay later the plane fare back to Canada from Munich. I got the telexes, by the way. I asked the consulate general to have. I wanted a copy of all that stuff, which I always got copies of everything. So I got 100 pounds of papers, letters, important stuff. Maybe more. I don't know. At least three. I don't know, the 200 video cassettes with hours of TV shows and other crazy things on it, which have been put into a computer, which can be uploaded on the internet. Nancy gets time. Okay, I'm gonna go. It's getting late.